for cancer patients, and the lack of medical care is really outrageous. I mean, here we are, one of the most powerful nations in the world, and one of the few, if not the only, first world country that doesn't provide health care. I mean, you go to France and you go to England, you go to just about any city in Europe, even South America, Canada, where they do have insurance or health insurance for people. So anyway, but MMC has been, there are questionable, their practices are questionable, and I hope that we get some clear answers from them. And a gentleman gave me, there's money.
So first up is that I want to announce that I have two upcoming spring open houses for District 4. I'm taking a book from Councilor Graham's approach on community meetings that she did last year, and I think the feedback was really positive, so I'm going to try that. And so really what it means is just an open house. Come in anytime between 4:30 and 6:30, talk to myself, talk to specific departments that will be there. The most highly requested services are from Public Works, from Codes, the LCPD will be there. We'll have other departments that you can come and just directly go to them and talk to them about your concerns. I will be there, constituent services will be there. So it won't be so much me talking at you things here. The position for Judge 2 is posted. So if you know a person who would make an excellent judge, who is committed to then running for that position in the future, have them apply. I think it's still open. I hope it is, but we will be making that decision soon to help Judge Filosa do a lot of the things that we have set forth as priority for municipal court. One of the other things that has come to my attention, if you go on section 1-11, court cost and collections, there are several pieces in here that talk about court fees, and section C in particularly is very concerning, and I believe it is creating a debtor's court. I think this is a piece of the code that we should look at potentially removing, but I think it's an important conversation to happen potentially at a work session, and that should come to us soon. I also know that state mandated fees, I think $29 state mandated fees are going away July 1st. I am not someone who would advocate for fees at a place like municipal court because I think it creates, again, debtor's court, but I would like to understand the impact that this might have on municipal court, on services, on any of those things, and if there are ways to either meet those fees a different way, or if there are, I do believe that there are currently people who cannot pay can sign up to do community service. But again, I think this creates this sort of system of people who have and people who don't. So I think all of these are important conversation, and I do just want to note that July 1st, though, some of those mandated state fees are going away. But I would like for us to have more of a discussion on that. Double check my list. I met with Family Lutheran Services a couple of weeks ago, and they are the organization here that is tasked with receiving and welcoming refugees. So these are people who are coming to the United States with already a lawful state immigration status. And many of them don't stay in our community for many things, lack of community, lack of opportunity, but many of them want to. Many of those refugee families want to stay in Las Cruces, and many of them are having a hard time finding work because they left their homes, usually war-torn countries, devastating situations. In that situation, you don't really think about, I'm gonna grab my certificate from high school or my college diploma, right? Like those are really difficult situations, and so people come here, and I really would love to work with staff on perhaps creating a pilot program for, they have people who are looking for work, and the city has a lot of openings in a lot of departments, working to see if we can do some sort of refugee work program that allows people to make a good living, to support their families. Many are coming with children and their families, and so I would love to see if there's an opportunity for that, because they've tried to apply for jobs here, but often there's that high school diploma piece that is limiting them. And so I would really love to work with staff on seeing if we can create some sort of work program specifically with this organization. Anyway, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to, what is it I want to say?
Time's up.
Oh, this is terrible. Anyway, I know. This is for Larry Nichols. Larry, Mr. Nichols, Community Development, and I'm glad that Dr. Pitts is here. What's happened to the name, the change of the street, the one that has that horrible, I have a very dear friend who's a Native American who has asked me, or indigenous, who's asked me about that name change, and I believe it hasn't been done. Didn't we agree that it was going to be done? Or did you follow the process?
Good afternoon, Mayor Pro Tem, City Council, Larry Nichols, Community Development. Your question, Councilor Flores, I've been visiting with my department and with the Assistant City Manager, Aikani, to, I think you brought that question before him. What's happened to the street name change after the decision was rendered? I think it's been over a year and a half now or more. And basically,
it's been about 2 years, Mr. Nichols. It's been a year and a half since we last spoke about it.
Yes.
And that was in December of 2022.
Yes, there has been no further action on that item.
Why not? I mean, there's a process to go through, and that wasn't followed, and is it going to be done? It's an embarrassment to us as a city to not take corrective measures.
Yes.
Why hasn't it been done? What happened?
What happened during that conversation, the residents of the street, I think there were 20 of them, that street is about, I think, a block and a half long.
A block.
And they, the 20 residents came before, discussed it with council, stating that they...
Mr. Nichols, I don't want to rehash all of this. Is it okay if you all to connect and then bring it back?
I want this on the record, and the reason is because for someone to have asked for this, in our community and not to have an answer, I don't want to convey an answer I'd like to hear in just a few words, Mr. Nichols, and thank you, Madam Chair, for indulging me, but this is something that is very concerning to me and should be to the entire city.
Yes.
Did the letters go out to them? Was there something done and just giving them notice? What happened?
One of the items that happened, Councilor, Mayor Pro Tem and Councilor Flores, was...
I'm sorry, I apologize. I'm going to have to, this is a policy item that's not on the agenda, and so we can't talk about it. So I would encourage you to talk to our Assistant City Manager.
Okay, so it's on the record that it has been brought up and we can't discuss it. But I hope that I'll get an answer from you, Mr. Nichols, and thank you, Madam Chair.
Councilor Flores. Can I get a motion to adjourn? Oh, yes. No, that's not true. I'm so sorry. Wow, I'm so sorry. It's her first time.